That's right. Let's talk. We're a little late starting today because, ironically, because of local activism, which is what this show is all about. Remember mow&sow?
Yes, that's
Stop
right.
the spraying.
That's right. Thank you.
So there are mowing trucks. Caltrans is mowing the sides of the road of Highway 1. And unfortunately, I got caught behind them with about 20 other cars right around the curvy bits around Giacomini Ranch. So,
Too bad. I was hoping that I could wing it here.
say that again. You got through, I know.
Yeah, I got through ahead of time.
Well, where are we? Hello.
We're ready. We're ready to start talking.
So today's show. You know, it's a call-in show, so everyone's supposed to call in. Everyone listening should call in. And we're talking about local activism. We'd like to know what your favorite local activism is, what you're involved in. What are the causes that you think need to be addressed? There are several happening right now, of course. But one of the great things that is happening is the local incarnation of the Indivisible movement, which has given rise to the West Marin Standing Together. So in the studio today, we have Celine Underwood, Shelley Rugg, and Stephen Hurwitz, of course.
Hello. Hello.
All three of you are members of the, what is it? The
Standing Together?
Standing Together
WAG.
and the
Writers and Artists
Writers
Group.
and Artists Group. There you go. And there's an event coming up that Shelley and Celine are organizing.
That's
so
right.
We're going to talk about that. But really, call in 415-663-8492. I know there's a lot of stuff going on, from houses to bridges to rumble strips to all kinds of things happening to the environment, to Coastal Commission trying to erase Marshall from the map, all that wonderful stuff. But anyway, so here we are in the studio with activists. So tell us about what's happening July 1st, the Interdependence Day Festival.
Thank you, Paul. Well, we're really excited because this is the first time we're doing this event. So it's evolving and unfolding every day. But we have quite a list of participants.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and our event, so to kind of paint a picture of what this will be like, we're going to kick off the event at noon at the Commons near the Little Yellow House in Point Reyes, of course, and
which is another issue.
It is.
the lovely Commons. That's there for the local community's use.
We hope.
So, and this event is very much focused on the local community, and but we also would love to reach much further.
Well, there will be lots of folks in town. So.
Yeah. So, so we'll start at the Commons, and then from there are kind of like a three-ring circus. There's things happening simultaneously at various venues throughout the downtown Point Reyes area.
So
When you arrive at the Commons, though, at noon on July 1st, Saturday, July 1st, there will be maps and a timeline available with all the venues listed.
Wow.
There will be signs in front of the venues with who's going to be performing there, so that you'll be able to decide who you want to go see, how you want to participate.
Right, and so what kind of venues are we talking about? Is it Toby's and...
Yeah, so we have the Commons, of course, the Little House. We're going to be using the inside and the porches of the Little House, Little Yellow House. Ink Paper Plate is a venue. Palace Market is presenting an exhibition of the artwork of their staff.
Really? Where?
Wonderful.
Inside?
Inside the Palace Market.
Brilliant.
Toby's Gallery is going to be used. GRO has at least 2 interactive exhibitions happening that day, along with an art opening of their show In the Mix, which is, I believe, a group show of the members.
Exactly.
You're a member.
Yes, I'm a member of GROW. Actually, Gallery Route 1.
Thank you.
Right, Gallery Route 1.
No, I like
Yeah.
to call it Gallery Route 1. GROW doesn't necessarily mean things, especially to strangers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shelley will also be working on a youth mural project, and I believe it's going to be down at Whale of a Deli, where we're hoping that it will be painted on the sidewall there. So when you're driving down, I guess that's still Highway 1, that you'll be, or up Highway 1, you'll be seeing a new mural in town. So that's spectacular.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm still working out the location.
Okay.
If we don't do it at Whale of a Deli, we will be doing it at the Dance Palace, most likely. That'll be with the kids from the Tamales Bay Youth Center. We'll be hosting a live interactive mural painting opportunity that everyone is welcome to participate in. Tamales Bay Foods Rear Lawn, Eden Clearbrook is hosting a wellness festival. There'll be reflexology and ritual and dance.
This is fantastic.
Surprises. We're not exactly
You're taking
sure.
over the town.
Yes,
That's
we
right.
are.
Taking over this tourist town.
And then if you go upstairs in the same building to the Point Reyes Music Center, Joyce Kaufman is hosting songwriting and jam sessions.
Nice.
And
Wow.
wait, there's more.
There's more.
Western Pharmacy has a couple of offerings. We also have things happening outside the Dance Palace and inside the Dance Palace. And
I'm seeing fire and belly dance here. Where is that happening?
So, yes, I actually just talked to the Marin Fire Marshal yesterday to make sure that the idea of a fire dancer would be okay, and he said yes. But, and so we're clearing up any buts that are associated with this. Yes, I'm excited. The only downside is it won't be sun. You know, the sun will still be quite high in the sky at 5:30 in the evening. But it's exciting. And then, let's see. The fire department is allowing us to use their driveway.
Great. I'm learning things as we go here, too.
Yes. And there will be some clowns and improvisation work roaming throughout the downtown
Clowns
area.
are coming to town.
Clowns
Uh-oh.
in town.
Are
so
these
look
evil
out.
clowns?
These
Clowns
are
have
the
gotten a
most
bad rep
sweet,
lately.
friendly clowns you'll ever meet. And then we just kind of came up with this idea. I don't think I even told you, Celine. Well, I was at a party this weekend at Bing and Eleanor's, and Tim Weed came, and we all sang together the song that he created for WAG when we marched in the Western Day Parade, Community Unity.
Oh, right.
And the idea is that, you know, if we can sing together, we can do anything together. Mm-hmm. And so we got this notion to have the event wrap up with everyone coming together in the Commons to sing the song together.
So,
What time will that be? It all
That'll
comes
be
to an end.
6 p.m.
6 p.m. will be the end of the multiple venues, although Ink Paper Plate will be putting on a kind of an after-hours performance with Rainy Eyes and Salt Suns. And so there will be kind of a little decompression, I guess, from the day. But one thing is that, you know, there was... oh, gosh, sorry, I lost my thought.
Well, you've been very busy.
It happens to me all the time. Don't worry about it.
I know.
So talking about the song and getting together and singing at the end of the day. So some of the early inspiration and ideas surrounding this event was that people would just kind of bring forward their concept of how to express themselves and that we wouldn't put parameters on it. And in fact, I had a lot of different visions early on of like, maybe we can surround the town. Maybe we can, you know, all holding hands, or maybe we can march through the middle of town and stop traffic or do those things. So we don't know how things will manifest or go during the day, but this is a day to really, for the arts, to inspire people to speak out and to, you know, really work towards a future that we want to see and not be complacent during this time.
You know what's so interesting about standing together is that it's easy to channel this into anger, what's happening. But actually standing together is channeling it into love. It's channeling it into a very positive, bringing everyone together in a very positive way. And that's what makes it so important, I think. And that's very West Marin. That's very Marin County.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that reminds me of I attended the Women's Day March in Oakland, and I was just really thrilled and impressed during the march, just the positive energy that was there, and just the dancing and the music and the connectivity. And you know, a march like that with so many thousands of people can kind of go wrong at any minute, and you know that when you're in the thick of it. But just looking around, it just, you know, it felt like a safe and positive environment, and kind of connecting to the people that you want to connect to.
Yeah. So it's let's see, the performance art, I get there's wall art as well, and that will be mostly sort of protest inspired. Art,
we had a poster
like,
making. We were hoping that there would be an avenue for poster making and protest art. And that kind of fell through. But what we do have in terms of visual arts is hopefully the mural project. We also have the Latino photography project, which will be up in the little yellow house at the Commons. There's a youth project, arts project that Colleen Connolly and Vakitsa and even Madeline Hope have all kind of participated with the kids to get work together, and they're going to hang that in the lobby at the Dance Palace. And perhaps
wonderful.
In the church space also. So that's, you know, I'd say we're a little...
Well, okay, so we don't, of course, Gallery Route 1.
Oh, and Gallery Route 1.
Route 1 really has stepped up to present in the visual art realm. Like I said, 2 of the artists are actually doing interactive and performance work in the gallery, and hopefully there'll be part of it that comes out of the gallery as well, still confirming that.
And the Palace Market also will be presenting
the Palace
visual
Market.
art.
And then kind of a little surprise that it's going to happen on that day is at the Grandy Building. West Marin Standing Together has a little piece of real estate on the Grandy Building wall.
Oh, good.
That's been painted with chalkboard paint.
Uh-huh.
So we will have some chalk there, and people will be able to express themselves.
See, that's fabulous. A little interactive undertaking there.
Yeah.
Like the one we did so many years ago. When was that?
Paul, can we try and get some people to join
Yes,
the
please
conversation?
call in. 415-663-8492. Please call in if you have any comments about this or any questions about the Interdependence Festival, or if you have any causes that are really firing you up right now locally. I know there's a bunch of them going on. I saw it in the paper this morning on PDF. There's all kinds of things. The Green Bridge. Let's talk about the bridge. Let's talk about the Commons. Let's talk about Moonrise Kingdom. All these.
Well, Stephen was talking about West Marin Standing Together, and maybe it would be nice to talk a little bit about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And maybe you could, Shelley or Stephen could actually say something about that. I know a little bit from the Writers and Artists group, but I actually haven't been able to get to the main meetings, and I know there's an immigration committee. And
LGBT.
There's several different committees that are going on with environmental committee, and people within these committees are dedicated. I mean, they're dealing really proactive about legislation. You know, there's lawyers in the groups. There's all sorts of things going on. So,
yeah, I saw I get the newsletter. This week's newsletter, for example. Emailing Congressman Huffman about impeaching the president, stopping Trump care. Writing, phoning Senator Feinstein, stopping Trump care, impeaching the president. Independent commission needed to investigate the Trump-Russia connection. Senator Harris, please stage a public hearing on Trump care, impeaching the president. Yeah, it's all good. I mean, it's. And they send out everything, all the contacts that you need for Kamala Harris, Dianne Feinstein, Jared Huffman. It's all very organized. It's wonderful the way it's been split up into groups so you can focus on different parts of it. And there's admin as well.
And it's asking people to do something. I think that's really important.
And making it easy, too, by giving you all the information that you need.
Right, and there's different committees: Immigrant Action Committee, Climate Environmental Protection Committee, Healthcare Committee, the 2018 Midterm Election Committee, oh boy, and the Writers and Artists, and the Strategy Organizing and Communications Committee. See, that's all very good. Splitting it all up and so people can devote their energies to their own special part.
And everything is under attack in all aspects.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I know for me, it all feels really overwhelming, and I look at all these numbers I'm supposed to call, and I can tend to shut down. And I think for me, being able to connect with the Writers and Artists group made a lot of sense, because then, I could dive in a way that feels right for me, and I really like that.
And during times like this, I think that arts are an extremely important. They're losing money right now from our administration, and so more than ever, it's a time to support the arts. It's also, artists have always historically, during difficult times, times of divide, have been voices, and they've helped to galvanize people. So, I think that however we can express ourselves right now, that's important, rather than just moving inward and being apathetic.
Yeah, exactly. So this interdependence is about showing community strength and people just getting together to be creative, bringing people together in that way.
And to express themselves.
And you get more accustomed to being around your neighbors instead of shutting yourself off from your neighbors, especially at the weekend.
Yes, and I mean looking at history and how history, stories of history. If you have to look eye to eye at somebody and you have to sit next to them and you have to converse with them, it's hard to watch something bad happen to them or to wish something bad upon them. So it's, I think that's part of this interdependence, that we, without each other, without community, then we don't have anything. And if we all go into our little holes and then we there is no connection, and the world falls apart, society falls apart.
That's a really good point. West Marin is very insular. You go to Marin, you go to Inverness, and you can live there for years, which I have, and never meet groups of people. We're all in many ways strangers to each other. And I've seen at the meetings for Standing Together, all of a sudden I go, hey, people are coming together in ways they've never have. Where did these people come from? Where did those people come from? I think this is a tremendous opportunity from that perspective.
Well, it's good that it's lumping all or most of the issues together in one body, basically, right? I mean, everyone feels like they're part. Because there are committees that are doing different things, you feel part of that, even if you're not on that committee, because you know that your friends, your neighbors are working on that. And I think it's very good. I think it's a great idea. And as long as everyone's calling and emailing and...
But, okay, you're organized the whole event, am I right?
Yeah, Shelley is basically the producer behind this event. She has you've produced other events, and so you have that experience, and so she's been amazing.
Thanks.
And, we've been working hard together. We have a few other people who have been helping us out with some press releases and... gathering. Yeah.
This is a phenomenal undertaking.
Yeah, it's huge.
You get an awful lot of credit for what you've done.
This is one of the biggest events, a town-wide event that we've had, I think, apart from the Western Weekend.
Right. Well, it's interesting because, you were speaking about the Commons and issues that are going on surrounding the Commons, and I've actually been sitting on the working group for that. And, there's many different sides of what people want within this community, whether they want the quiet life to be in Inverness not talking to anybody, or they are here because they love the thriving community. And the Commons has become a space where people really interact and engage, and especially if you have a real downtown, lifestyle, right? I don't know.
Especially if you ride a bike.
Yeah, first the cyclists, definitely. So that's the contention with the Commons is, are we providing a space so that people from outside of town can hang out? Or are we providing a space where locals can hang out? Or are we doing both? And can we do both? And my experience is that this is a non-commercial space, the only non-commercial space we have as a community that we get, that's actually people do sit there and they do talk and they do get together. And it's also a place that the Latino community has felt very welcome to use. So they've put on events there and would like to continue it. But there's contention on another side. We don't like that loud music. We don't like this. We don't like that. So, there's, and the picnic tables have recently been removed as an experiment in how that space is being used. But it's interesting that that without even kind of meaning to, we chose to do this town-wide event, this multiple venue thing, and the Commons was an immediate place we went to.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important that we have a public space where we can both interface with visitors, interface with our community, and have a platform for free speech.
So you're because your business is a neighbor of the Commons. So what are your feelings, both of you, about the removal of the picnic tables? I mean, come on, we're all together.
Okay, well, I just felt my gut go off. I first of all, I want to acknowledge that I was not present at the Point Reyes Village Association meeting, or meetings when these things were discussed. But when hearing about it, it just didn't feel good to me. It kind of reminded me of when I used to work in Long Beach in the Arts District, and we put on these monthly art walks. And, providing bathrooms for all these visitors can be a challenge. We know that here, right? One of the business owners said, let's charge people $5 to use the bathroom. That'll solve the problem. And for me, that will cause people to think negatively about, in this case it was downtown Long Beach, to think negatively, to avoid it. Why would they want to go there? When you make it harder for visitors to feel comfortable and safe and welcome, I personally don't think that's a good thing, and I also don't really think that the visitors are going to go away.
No,
anytime soon.
They're not leaving because the picnic tables are not there.
No, they're not.
And they're still going to be getting stuff from the bovine and from
and there's a lot
Alice.
of I guess the idea behind that is that then they will take their stuff and go to where there are picnic sites versus stay and hang out in town.
Bear Valley.
Bear Valley, hiking,
Really?
So where there's bathroom facilities and picnic tables.
Drive to Bear Valley
So,
from here.
So we should put a sign in the Commons.
Well, that's going to be part of the plan, actually. But I think that there becomes, when there's so much influx of tourism, that there really becomes a really strong sense of us, them.
Yeah.
And that language is actually, going back to interdependence, is it's something I struggle with because I have that attitude a lot of times too. But I'm constantly trying to remind myself that this is not, I do not own this. This is not mine. While I want to protect it, it's important that we all share what we have here, and it really makes me mad when people disrespect this area, and they do, and that's unfortunate. We have a lot of a friend of mine actually called them, I can't remember how he phrased it, but he said like low quality tourists, and he meant that only in the sense that he meant that people, because of internet and things like that there's people aren't putting as much energy into where they go. They can kind of click online and go, I want to take a day trip. I'm just going to go here. They don't have to know about it. They don't have to put a lot of processing into it. They just kind of go. And so they don't have as much connection to where they're going and what they're doing and the community that they're interfacing with. And so that's, I think, what the meaning behind that was, and I agree with that to a certain extent, that just the quantity of people and kind of the lack of we're just going out here and we don't really care what it is we're doing. We're just kind of taking a drive and we're going to I mean, I see all sorts of things, and
the town itself is a draw, not just the park anymore. I mean,
exactly.
And Marshall, the Hog Island and the oyster coming to Tamales Bay oysters. I mean, they're draws all by themselves that are increasing traffic. Yeah, I mean, don't we all get a little peeved now and again by having to drive down Highway 1? Yes, but it is the lifeblood of this town, right?
Yeah, it's like
all
you're
the
either
businesses in
behind
this town.
somebody who's going really slow on those curves, or people who are extremely dangerously passing, where it is clearly
people
not
go
safe.
nuts, right?
Not used to blind curves.
It's can be scary out there.
Yeah.
But what I'd like to say about the picnic tables is that after thinking about it for a while, at first I was opposed to them going because I didn't see the point. But then after thinking about it and thinking about kind of all the different, the village association has a plan. The county has like a plan. They have there's all language surrounding the village and how it should be kept, basically. And so the picnic tables, when you really think about it, I mean, it's nice. A picnic table's nice, but to me, it actually became an aesthetic and also kind of a community thing where, when you sit at a picnic table, it promotes a certain kind of activity. But what if we created more natural seating that was more in tune with our environment, more in tune with the aesthetics and aspects of our community, that maybe could still host a group who wants to have a meeting or host people who want a picnic or such as that. But you don't necessarily have to have a cookie-cutter picnic table there.
I think it's... I think people look at Point Reyes Station as a whole, and because of that, they feel that they need to be taken care of. I think that's part of it. So,
I mean, visitors.
Yes, I'm talking about the visitors.
Yeah.
It's like going to Disneyland. It's Point Reyes Station land, and it's expected that the community that they're going to take care of them, they're going to have all those facilities that will support them, and
we don't have to. We don't necessarily have to.
Don't have to, but
that's right. That's the.
you
But
don't have
people
the
do need
trash
to go to
cans.
the bathroom. I love to travel. I love to visit places. I like to go pee when I'm there.
Exactly. Spreading urine wherever we go. I have to. This is 90.5 KWMR Point Reyes Station. And speaking of the Bovine Bakery, KWMR Community Radio is supported by our listener members and the Bovine Bakery, located in Point Reyes Station, providing West Marin with pastries, coffee, soups, quiche, and pizza made from organic ingredients and brick-made breads, of course. Open 7 days a week, the Bovine Bakery. And KWMR, also supported by the Mendocino Music Festival, running July 8th through July 22nd. Classical performances include the Festival Orchestra, Calder Quartet, a Schubert series, and opera. Jazz and blues shows include Richie Goods and Zoe Ellis. Festival also features the Pine Leaf Boys, Laurie Lewis, Kanekoa, and the Band of Heathens. Information and tickets online at mendocinomusic.org. Thank you to the underwriters. Call in, won't you? 415-663-8492. We know there's a lot of stuff going on in West Marin these days. Let us hear your opinions on some of them. You don't have to give your real name. Just give us any name. And if you call in, you'll hear a funny little sort of raspy noise as I put you in the system. Just hang on till I say you're on the air. And please, no matter how passionate you are about the cause that you're talking about, please keep the language clean. Thank you so much. Anyway, so... the inevitable dichotomy of living in a beautiful rural place.
What was that first word?
The inevitable dichotomy of being a tourist destination now. Weekends especially.
It goes beyond downtown, where in some sense the entire surrounding area, we've become visitor-serving facilities. And unfortunately, it has an effect on the people who are permanent residences. And it's a whole subject on its own in terms of what it's done for the rents when housing gets purchased and turned into visitor-serving facilities.
Airbnb. And, of course, I just have to do this, the Coastal Commission, which is seems to actively want to remove people from Marshall. The visitor serving places are okay, but the houses are a problem apparently, and backed up by EAC, may I say, and Amy Traynor, whatever her new organization is up in Washington State. She is also... they're also supporting the Coastal Commission in this, in that if you make any, their proposal is if you make any additions to your house or if you make any repairs to your house, if you're on the water, they are proposing that the amount of repairs should be taken into account dating back to 1971, I think, when the Coastal Act was signed. And so they're taking it back 45 years plus.
What does that mean?
Well, so there's
back?
this 50% rule that they've somehow came up with, which is if you've altered your house by 50%, like if you put a roof on, or if you've put new pilings under there, or if, substantial things.
Didn't Linda have confronted she was putting new sheetrock? Didn't she have to confront that?
Really?
Yeah,
Sheetrock. Wow.
Yeah,
anyway, so if they deem that you have upgraded more than 50% of your house during those 45 years, then you will have to apply for any further construction, like new siding, I don't know, windows, you would have to apply for a Coastal Commission permit, which is thousands of dollars, months and months of hearings, and anyone can stop it, like EAC would put in a objection, and you'd have to fight EAC or Amy Traynor or whoever.
This really goes back to, I mean, I think back in the 70s when it was ranch land or tourism, really, promoting tourism in the area versus parkland and converting it to national park. I mean, it's kind of like around full circle to now once again, farmers are being pushed out. People are being pushed out of their homes for the environmental, by environmental groups.
It all started out as a brilliant idea, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there were people, I've forgotten her name, but who was one of the co-founders of MALT. She was on the first Coastal Commission.
Ellen Strauss, are you talking about?
No,
we had John Burton. No.
Yeah, right. Anyway, it all starts out great, but then it turns into this massive, powerful bureaucracy, California-wide. I mean, it's the entire coastline, and they're applying rules to Newport Beach, although Newport Beach does not have the same restrictions that Marshall does. Anyway, it's an ongoing thing. So what it does do, though, all these threats and all these little issues, is it gets people together.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the entire the administration thing. Politics is finally bringing people together. And the thing about it is you have to keep on top of it all the time. I was... Yeah. The late, great Donna Sheehan spent 13 years trying to get Caltrans to stop spraying Highway 1 and succeeded. And, of course, I got stuck behind the mowing truck. But far better that than dousing farmland and the bay, run off into the bay with 2,4-D and Roundup, which, of course, we all know is safe. But, Hey.
Some of the greatest friends, somebody just sent me... something about an article about Einstein, and he was talking about how the fight never ends, basically, and we're always going to be striving to maintain our rights as humans and individuals, and so it's tiring, but it's never ending.
That's it. Yeah, it is never ending.
We can't expect it to actually, because anybody. We can't expect the next person just to. Make a pleasant world for us, right? Like we have to make it for ourselves.
Right.
I remember everyone coming together around the Vietnam War. That brought, a tremendous outpouring of resistance, and in the end, it was effective. I think there might have been completely different considerations, but. It did bring a very strong resistance, and with Trump and his whole crew, I can see that same resistance. I think we fell asleep with Obama.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The midterms. 2000. When was it? 2010. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, I think we thought, we won.
That's when I decided to become a citizen. Yes, so I could have some say instead of just moaning about it. Moonrise Kingdom, that's a big thing. Green Bridge is a big thing. The Commons is a big thing. Coastal Commission is a big thing. Affordable housing. Now look at CLAM. There's a wonderful organization that came up out of local activism. Molt, of course, mow&sow in the old days. The smart meters, remember that?
Mm-hmm. What came out of this guy from Pandora who has that big project?
On Drake Street Drive.
Yeah, the 9-bedroom home with
the dragon,
caretaker house.
The something dragon.
Hidden
dragon? I don't know.
I haven't heard anything about it. It probably went through and it's just sneaking by now. No, I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Wasn't it going to be like 12 bathrooms, 22 bedrooms or something?
Yes, all windows, so the birds just flew straight. That was a part of it. That was a part of the controversy.
Wow. And Moonrise Kingdom, of course, is back up on the old Waits property. Howard and Cecil. Wonderful people, built those beautiful houses. But part of the thing they're doing, these guys, the trainers, are they're going to preserve the old buildings. Not a bad thing.
Yeah, and they have some local workers up there, and I don't know.
Building a 4,500 square foot house.
I don't know. I don't know why you have to do that. But
I would just call that adequate.
There you are. If you'd like to call in and berate Stephen Hurwitz for his for McMansionville, 415-663-8492. Do give us a call, won't you? We're talking about local activism, what gets you fired up, and we're talking about, of course, this wonderful thing that's coming up on July 1st, the Interdependence Day Festival for Arts and Community. A wonderful thing. It's going to be town-wide, and the town is going to be hopping.
Yeah, so this is your opportunity to take town over from our visitors on the busiest weekend of the summer. And just to give
Was that the choice? Was that?
It really, actually it was. Well, it came on a couple of counts. One, because we did want to have that interface to say, this is our community, this is how, it's not, you can have different politics, so I guess this is one side of it. But to just kind of express what our community is about, to take over the downtown, to also, interdependence. We thought, well, wouldn't that be great to kind of promote it during Independence Day?
The flip side of independence.
Exactly.
It seemed very. See, now I lost my word. Friendly is the word. People, I say, rouse the people that already agree. Don't try and change somebody's mind. It's too hard. But if you can get those people that already agree, if you can get them roused up, and I think there's a very friendly way to do it. It's not pushy. It's, you're coming from a place of love.
Yeah.
And I think that's unique, really, in many ways.
Yeah, and it started, with the notion of providing a platform, a forum for people to express themselves, and including children. If there are some Trump supporters out there, of course, they're welcome.
Welcome,
Absolutely.
Of course. Good heavens.
I'd like to just kind of go over some of the performers and artists that
I was just looking. I'd like to know where the bagpipes are going to be.
So Terry Aylshire is going to be kind of wandering, actually.
Oh dear, really?
So we're going to have some wandering performers.
Bagpipes and clowns.
Yeah, and just to draw people to the different venues, to show, and to also kind of, again, break up the... if people are just there shopping, wandering the streets, it's like break it up a little, and make them think.
If we weren't here to if we weren't there to hear the bagpipes, then what good are the bagpipes, right? So it's that interdependence.
The sound of one bagpipe playing.
And the ultimate is to get those visitors. Now we can communicate with them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they're here.
People live here?
Cheryl from the Station House Cafe and the soon-to-open, speaking of another business in town, but she's soon to open the Side Street Kitchen, which is going to be a rotisserie, and
at the old Pinecone
Pinecone Diner, and she's offered us the lot that she's now renting next to it for parking, so there will be overflow event parking.
Absolutely
so that's
nice.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So, we're really grateful for that. And we are going to have all sorts of different performers. Azteca, the fabulous Aztec dancers, will be doing a performance, ceremonial performance. Dave Whitney is going to have a one-man band. Terry Ailshire will be on bagpipes, Latino photography project. We have Florence Williams, who is a gospel singer.
By the way,
Florence and the Joyful Praise Singers.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
Not just Florence.
I
Where
have
are
to
they
put a
gonna be?
pitch in there. That Latino photography project has been an ongoing Gallery Route 1 program.
Right.
It is, and it's a wonderful program. They have a show up right now at Toby's until the 28th, and then that show will actually be moving to the Yellow Building. So we also have a group of poets, which I'm really excited about. I think I was hoping for a lot of spoken word and just people with the desire to speak out. And so we have a group of maybe 5 to 7 poets who will be performing at Toby's in the gallery.
7.
We have a pianist who will also be in there.
Bill Quist?
Yes.
Great. Bill Quist is really good.
We have Erika Haru is going to do a Japanese star celebration called Tanabata. And it is it's a traditional Japanese star holiday where you make a wish and you make an origami piece and you tie it to a bamboo tree, and that's your wish for the year. And she'll be at ink paper plate. And we have all sorts of musicians. We mentioned Rainy Eyes and Salt Suns.
Excuse me, what is ink paper plate?
Ink Paper Plate is run by Sarima Sataman, and it's a letterpress printing shop, also woodblock. She does amazing woodblock prints, and she sells art supplies there. She does. She has actually a nonprofit workshop, like a community workshop. So she offers different classes through it. She does life drawing there. There's
A ukulele meetup.
She has music there regularly. It's just a really amazing spot, and she's really interested in the community being a part of it, and so she's constantly doing free events and offering her services. She helped us print our posters.
Yeah,
so
you know where she is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, right across the road.
This is a phenomenal community. I always said, throw a silver dollar in any direction, you're going to hit an artist. Do they have silver dollars? Didn't Washington throw one across
Point
the
Reyes
Potomac?
coins or something?
The Point Reyes coin, yes.
Yeah.
The West Marin coin.
And so a couple more people just to get the juices flowing. We have a rhythm workshop with Amber Hines from Bolinas, and Aikido for kids with Bruce Fox, and he'll also be playing Hang.
So just to
All right.
be a little more specific about Bruce's offering, he's doing a demonstration.
A demonstration, okay.
Yeah, so
Aikido
it's
for
for
kids.
anybody that would like to learn more about Aikido
nice.
and to see that.
Give us a call, 124-156-638492. We know you're listening. Just tell us what comments you have, what you're going to go see during Independence Day, and what you think about this whole thing, or any cause that you have locally. I mean, everyone's affected by something. Is it your neighbors? Give us a false name and 415-663-8492. Call in, won't you please? Tell us about local activism, what you think it's done for West Marin, what the downsides are, or what the upsides have been, making this place what it is today, which is a difficult mix sometimes. But you guys, I think this is wonderful because, yes, I kind of made this little joke, oh, there's people living here, but really, this will show that there are people living here and doing things that have, we're not just here to service the visitors so much as to live our lives here. It's great.
Yeah.
And create and be creative. That's a wonderful thing.
Just to continue,
Yes.
at the Paper Mill Creek preschoolers are going to be singing a couple of songs for everyone to hear. We're going to be showing 2 films, one by Richard Heckler called The School on Chobar Hill, which is a documentary about Nepal schoolgirls. and a film by Carolina Dutton called Why We Came, which is a documentary about immigration.
I've seen it. It's wonderful. Very good.
A couple of the Azteca dancers will be selling food to raise money for their costumes, and that will be at the Dance Palace. And Paper Mill Creek Children's Corner will be selling drinks and maybe something else, and that also is to raise money for the preschool. Standing Together will have a information table, and we will have donation boxes around at the various venues.
Well, there you go. Where do donations go? Let's see.
Well, that day you can put them in the box. But right now, if you want to support West Marin Standing Together and all the wonderful work they're doing, you can send a check to West Marin Standing Together, care of Bing Gong, Post Office Box 478, Point Reyes, 94956.
You know, you brought a name, Bing Gong. It seems that every day I get an email from him. He's pretty phenomenal that he brought us together.
Yeah, he's really providing strong leadership for this organization, and he's clearly very passionate about it. And
he's been a long time activist, right? I mean, I've been hearing when my
Fukushima
mom, and there was the Pelican Alliance back in the day, and there was all these other organizations in the 80s in town, and my mom was a part of them. And I remember that Bing was like hearing that name for a long time now.
He hasn't burned out, which is, that's the big downside of activism, where, especially in small communities, where 50% of people are going to disagree with you or actively shout at you or whatever for your views. And really, as you said earlier, you never stop. It never stops. There's always something else. There's always somebody spraying, or there's always somebody wanting to build something, or there's always some organization wanting to take things away. Or,
Right.
It never stops. And so the difficult thing is not to burn out, and also to get the younger generation involved.
That's right.
Because the old guys.
The old guard.
Slowing down, we're not getting any younger.
But we need you. We need the old guys.
We do, and for leadership. And I actually was really impressed the first Writers and Artists Group meeting we went to, and actually Stephen was there, Shelley was there. There was a large group of us at that time, and I was impressed by just, as everybody went around and talked about who they were and what they've done, I was like, whoa, I'm with some heavy hitters here.
That's
there were some
That's
really great people. It was neat. And I there was one person younger than me, but otherwise I was the youngest person in that group, And
that's really interesting, though. It's hard to find that next generation. A lot of them have moved out. It's not a comfortable, conducive place.
Exactly. And I'd like to put in a plug for Charles Schultz, who's not with us today because it's kind of full in here, who's done lots of work and whipping up lots of interest in like affordable housing, for example, and local power, localization of energy to take it out of the hands of the monopolies and put it into municipalities. There's the word municipality. What if we need to be incorporated? Does for example, Point Reyes Station need to be incorporated to have more clout, to be able to have political clout? There's a question.
I debate that all the time. Part of me thinks that we would have more of a say if we actually had a government, but at the same time, things start to get really convoluted, and there's something special to being unincorporated and not part of the system, right? But then you don't get a lot of say.
Well, business of say, though, is very complicated.
It is, right.
Yeah, well, we've had success with the various local village associations. The ESPG, East Shore Planning Group, has been very successful, always had under Steve Kinsey, anyway, when he was the supervisor, we always had a sympathetic ear, and I think Dennis is going to be the same.
I remember those meetings.
I mean, ESPG is very active. There's local activism for you, all just people who live renters and owners in Marshall on the east shore of Tomales Bay. When they realize, for example, they might be under threat for E. coli in the bay, in Tomales Bay, because of failing sewer systems, instead of waiting for it all to come down and for the county to red tag everybody, they got together and they found a way to put in a sewer system for the entire Marshall, entire Marshall, what is it, 2 miles long? but really, I mean, really forward-thinking, great activism, very practical, and that's one less threat hanging around people's necks up there that could deprive them of their houses and, or have
that's
them
a
shut
good
down.
example of how a community has come together. I think Marshall has an identity now.
Yeah, even as it thins out.
We are the oyster capital of the world.
Well, I think, setting our sights on the opportunity that difficulty can bring, the opportunity for us to come together, to be stronger, to really sort of take charge and not, fall to the wayside and think it's hopeless, that we need to reinvigorate the idea of community and connectedness and stepping up and taking charge, just like you were describing what happened in Marshall. If we all stay, to ourselves and our molecular families,
well, it's
we're
very
missing
tempting,
out.
right? It's tempting to hide out in this beautiful place because,
Especially on the weekends.
they have these lovely little houses in lovely places.
Yes.
You've either got trees or water, and there's wildlife everywhere, and you just
Yeah.
want to sit there and look out the window. And
But we need each other.
Yeah.
It really is a community of recluses in some way.
Oh, of course. Yeah, well, it's.
Can you call it a community if everyone's a recluse?
We'll ask Charles about that. Charles has several things to say about the word community. But.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because the young people that I know who have families who are trying to make it work here in West Marin, they struggle all the time because most are renters, and so they always have the potential of losing their place, and often do, and then it takes months to find a new place. But they, are struggling to stay here, and there are a very small group of community members who have a second unit or have money to extend, or who do reach out and help out. But it's small for the amount of money that's here, and that's disappointing. But what I also, and I know that because people are, raising their families and struggling to make a living and paying ridiculous prices for housing, that they don't have any time to breathe and enjoy and live, and they don't have any time to engage in activism. Right. And there's all what's happening here right now with the million nonprofits and million associations and boards and stuff, is that they're looking for young people and they're looking for that voice. And a lot of people try to be on those boards, and then they give up for several reasons. They give up because there's kind of a way of working out here that the young people aren't interested in anymore. They want it different. They want to change how it's done, and they're not being heard. They want to they also don't have the time to sit there and go through the process, right? And so that's just interesting because there's we know that West Marin is aging, and we know there's a whole community of young people who are struggling to be here and would like to be here. And how do we facilitate that,
right.
And how do we open the door as elders to both to guide and to give space to the young people to step up?
Right.
So on both an activist level and on just a building community level.
Affordable housing, that's a whole other show.
And there's so many institutions that they could join effectively.
Transient occupancy tax for the area and keeping it here. Anyway, we have to go. Thank you so much for being here, Celine and
Thanks
Shelley.
for having us.
And thank you for the incredible work you've done in preparing for
it sounds like
July 1st.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stephen. And we'll be back next Thursday with some subject. Who knows what it will be.